Cool. Come on. Welcome. Should take a. That's right. Here's wearing the yellow. That's right. Not to be outdone by Macy's colourful jumpers. She wanted me to go with a less vibrant colour. I suspect because she didn't want to be dethroned. Get that infographic out of here. Where is it? Get that out of here. Go. Get away, Maisie. My class. All right, we're going to warm up. It's a full body exercise today, so let's do our usual with my warm-ups. Air squats all the way down to the ground. 10. If you need something to help you get further down to the ground, like a box or a chair, so that you get full range of motion, please make sure you do it. 10 air squats. Cool. After our 10 air squats, we're going to do our 10 Russian squats. I've heard multiple names. Yeah, Kelvin calls these up-down squats. And another name I heard for them was upstairs squats. And another name I heard for them was stripper squats. But I always just called them Russian squats because I watched all the Russian trainers in Olympic weightlifting halls do this. But well, I mean, yeah, but he, would he be having a bias if he said Russian over Chinese or Russian over Ukrainian? Because he's been to multiple training camps.
Maybe in Russia they just call it squats or.
Well, that's what Mikhail said. Mel's good. No, they're just squats. And I was like, well, you have multiple names for these things, So.
I think it's anything holding of Brazil nuts.
So yeah.
They just call them nuts.
Or it's like chai tea. Or like Sahara Desert, and it's like, that's the same thing. Cool. All right, we're gonna go up for a short hang. Gary can set up a timer for maybe 30 seconds. Cool. And just a nice stretch to warm up our arms and shoulders. Cool. When the timer's on, Gary, you can go ahead. Yeah. So, there we go. I'll just pull this mic out a little bit. There we go. Hopefully I'm not too loud. You can see the mic levels from here. Cool, thanks Gary. Cool, coming down. We're going to do inchworm. We do that quite a bit. So the standard that I'd like you to perform is bouncing 3 times to your lowest position. Your lowest position may differ from a lot of people. What I want you to avoid is going lower by compromising a bend in the knees. So if your legs are straight and you only go to here, then that's the position you're working with, and that's fine. But you're not going to progress in your range by always bending your knees. You need to try and focus on straightening them, not shooting the hips back, coming forward. So now my legs are vertical, bouncing 3 times here. And yours might look something like that, but that's where you're working from. All right, let's do about 3 to 5 inchworms across the floor. And we're going to walk our feet into our hands. Nice gingerly pace. Bounce 3 times. Walk our hands, actively pushing our tailbone underneath us and our heels towards the floor.
What's up, Ray?
Ooh, Andre. Fresh kid. Yeah, that's right. Boy! Morning, Andre. Yeah, I never got to wear this at Studio Dre because I think I was there mostly through summer. And also, yeah, it was a very competitive thing for Macy to say, "You don't own any colorful clothes." It's like, whoa, I feel attacked. Good boy, Gary. Keep working on it. What you want to do is never mind, he's got it. I kind of wish it's on camera. He's juggling over here. Cool. We're going to grab the band. Hopefully you've got a band here. I'm going to continue to warm up our shoulders. Starting with the band behind our back. Get a nice little stretch here to begin with, and then we're going to push through protraction. Nice little stretch, push through protraction. Andre, if you're still on the stream, I looked up the Orlando guy that you and Ido talked about. Very interesting guy. I just kind of wish there was more footage of, 40 to 60 years ago when he was really at the forefront of what he was teaching and stuff. The stuff I found on YouTube seemed to be maybe 10, 15 years old, so not really at his, probably where he was like really at his most invested and deep into it. But yeah, he seems really cool. It was cool to share and see that photo, and I had a look, and it was definitely cool that Ido paid respect to him too. I have to talk to you more about I think his name's Orlando Cani, which is this guy from Rio de Janeiro. Fantastic mover, yoga teacher, very, very creative and progressive in his training. Combined a lot of things at the same time. I think one of the things he called it was biomechanic gymnastics. And Andre's my gymnastics coach. That's why we're having this conversation mid-set. Cool, finishing our dislocates. From here we're going to do band pull-aparts. I aim to try and retract the shoulder blades and then pull the band into my chest. Keeping my shoulders down low. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're going up overhead and we're going to pull down for depression and let the band shrug our shoulders back up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. I'm going to pop the band down to the side. We'll come back to that later. Onto the floor for our wrist drills. So we'll be doing a mixture of legs and bent arm strength today. A little bit more fun, a little bit more sort of a spread of exercise instead of being too specialized today. But still doing a wrist drill, palm raises, up and down. So doing our wrist drills. Leaning into our hands. Between about 20 to 30 reps. And you should definitely be doing these every day. Pretty much why I put them in every class that I teach. Cool. From here we're going to go to fin push-ups. So using the back of our hand. Knees can be close for this. You don't need to have your knees far away. You're looking to build up strength in the joint over time, not through rushed intensity. So either hands flat, or if you can do a monkey paw, or eventually working your way into some kind of closed grip is the goal. But we want to be pushing with the back of our hands in a pseudo push-up position. Again, about 10 to 20, aiming to get your elbows out as far as possible and then as straight as possible at the top.
Thank you, Andre.
Oh, cool, yeah. Hopefully, you got to hear my response about Orlando. Cool. From here, we're going to do a wrist stretch, so wrists backwards, And we can alternate from side to side, backwards, forwards. So for those QDR, that's 10. Oh, sorry, no, that's the full one. So you're on the second set of material you're writing there, aren't you? Yeah, cool. Awesome, bro. Cool, turning our hands over, top of our hands. And again, just rocking from side to side or backwards, drawing circles. And we're then going to rotate our hands inwards on the floor, straighten our arms, and rock back and side to side again. Seeing how much rotation you can try and get through your hands in this position. Good. Trying to push through your shoulders, maybe hollow through your back. Cool. All right, we're going to get started on the first part of material. So we will need a band, a box, and a light weight of some kind. I have 2 light weights here. Oh, sorry, I don't think we need the... Oh no, we don't need the box. Don't need the box yet, never mind. Just the band. So we're going to set up the band somewhere so that we can do some band curls. So you can either use the leg of a table, use a heavy weight, for example. Cool. Yep, so the first one, so starting with band curls. Yeah, cool. And essentially you're just putting your hands inside the band. We're just going to get some blood into your arms and elbows. So hands inside the band like I'm in jail, wrap around the outside, and then you're just going to pull up, hopefully your kettlebell or your weight, if it's anchored to the part of a table or a chair, doesn't come sliding away from you. From here, I'm trying to keep my elbows reasonably in front of the body so that when they come down, my arms are locked out here and that my triceps are getting activation in this as well. Doing about 20 reps of this. Doesn't need to be too challenging. Like I said, we're just warming up the biceps, filling blood with the arms. Hopefully you can pull a little bit with your wrists that they're not limp like this, and you're using active parts of your arms. Cool, so that's about 20 there. We're now going to go over to the wall and we're going to do a QDR, which is a quarter ins regression or press into the wall. Our aim is to have our elbow round about where our liver would be, stab ourselves in the liver, and we're going to try and lean into the wall and press away and build up a little bit of strength and awareness by pushing through the wall. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the wall now and demonstrate. My fingers face horizontal behind me. Put my hand into the wall. Now I can scale this by making it easier by standing closer to the wall, or I can make it a little bit harder by moving away from the wall. I aim to try and, heel to head. I aim to try and have full lockout and extension at the end. Elbow touches into my liver or rib cage and pressing out. We're going to do this 10 times on each side. Try and keep your hand as flat as possible. You can take the book over there now if you like, Gary, because I just needed it for the warm-up. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Cool, we're going to swap to the other side. Another 10 reps here. Touching in, full extension out. You should feel extension in your shoulder when you lock your arm out. full press out from the shoulder. 8, 9, and 10. Cool. We're going to go to our small weight here. Yep, still on, good. Hold the kettlebell or the weight up to your chest so it's nice and high. And we're going to do 10 goblet squats so the weight stays nice and close to our chest. And then after that, we're going to do 10 hip openers at the bottom where we drive our knees out to the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. She doesn't have to do anything. All right, so we've done 10 goblet squats. Now we're doing hip openers, aiming to try and drive our knees out to the side. I'm not using my elbows to do this. You can do them as quickly as you like. 20 times. 10, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Trying to stand up nice and strong. Whew, out of that goblet squat position. And then we're back at the start of that first round. So back to band curls. Again, the band curls don't need to be too taxing. Hands inside the band, like I'm in jail. Wrap around the outside. And then using a bit of my wrist so they're not limp when I pull up. And about 20 reps here. Focus more on the contraction, both at the extension of my arms, so here my tricep head is contracting, and then also at the top here, squeezing my biceps. The band offers a bit of resistance, but I want you to focus on control with this contraction. Okay, Elodie, we will be quiet now. No, thank you. Look at that, saying no to coffees. Oof. If you come back with a banana bread, I wouldn't hate you. It was actually very, very nice. Cool. So we've done about 20 band curls. We're going to return to the QDR press. So again, my fingers are facing sideways. I want as much surface area on the wall as possible. I'm pressing into, that's got a big tattoo there, pressing into this part where my liver and my obliques and abdomen meet, or my hip, and you just find the area here where your elbow makes contact and then pressing away. Putting my hand on the wall, leaning into the wall, elbow makes contact, full extension and press out. You can make this a little bit easier by starting in the press position, feeling the uncomfortable stretch in the wrist, and then pushing away and starting your reps from there. That makes it a little bit more accessible. Macy didn't make it to the stream, did she? She must be busy. What do you hear you, her lawyer? You're not helping. Good. 10 on the opposite side. Full extension out the top. Cool. And then we're going to go back to our goblet squat. So we have a light to medium weight. Going to hold that nice and close to our chest and do 10 squats. At the end of those 10 squats, we're going to drive our knees out to the side while still maintaining that bottom position. I'm going to take my mic off so I don't have to breathe in it so much. Cool, so an important point out of that is trying not to drop the weight and then stand up out of it. I said that in the first round, but just to reiterate, try to drive up out of those last 20 hip openers with a lot of emphasis on the leg drive. Don't be lazy and just drop the weight and stand up awkwardly. You're here to do work. Grab a drink if you need, and then we'll get our last set of preparation done. Cool. Back to the band curls. This time, I just want you to knock out 20 quickly as you can. Cool. Nice and fast like this. We're not looking to develop strength so much. It's that we're going to be loading in our elbows and arms. And we want to make sure there's a lot of blood in there and they're nice and warm. Cool. 20 of those done. We head over to the wall for our QDR press. Again, try to make sure that your elbow makes contact, either on the front of the side of the abdomen where your obliques connect, or on the side of your hip. Either place is fine, but just as long as there is contact making. Over your experience playing with elbow levers and QDRs, which is something that we're exploring, your position may differ depending on how much internal rotation you can get through your elbow over your body. Also, where your muscles are located. There's lots of variance in there. But anyway, back to the press against the wall. Excuse me. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Cool, opposite arm. Fingers facing backwards, horizontal. Elbow going into the body, and I'm leaning into it. And it's a bit of a pseudo one-arm push-up, but it's a very particular pushing pattern or path that we're doing. And then full extension out at the top. Make sure you lock your arm out. Cool. That one's done. Last one with the goblet squat. I'm just going to pop the mic behind me. Oh, I've gotten very tangled. That's okay. All right. 10 reps. Let's go. 1, 3, 8, 9, 10. Staying down at the bottom, avoiding using my elbows if you can, but if you need to a little bit, that's what you have to do. But ultimately, we want to just use our hips and drive our knees out to the side 20 times. 3, 2, 1. Cool. Whoop, almost put it down. I want you to stand up. Drive out of it. All right. Grabbing a drink. We'll put the next set of exercises up on the board. Ready for the big reveal? Here it comes. Whoa. Boom. More color. Boom. Take that. Easy. That's right. Your boy's into sunflowers. Cool. Oh, yeah, perfect. Awesome. Cool. So we've played with the QDR in another class before, but we can always use the basics or fundamentals, revisit them, and get better at them. One thing that seems to happen a little bit is people say, oh, I've done that class before, or I've done that exercise before. What's next? And this is not really a good way to think about your exercise, because a lot of it is actual repetition. So you need to think about what the quality of it was, how long you can maintain it for. If someone or an external force were to be acting upon you, such as pushing you or pulling you, would you still be able to maintain your organic strength during that exercise? What I mean is if you were trying to do a full push-up, keeping everything locked, keeping your shoulders in protraction, only using your forearms and arms to move, and everything else was protracted. If someone were to put an extra weight on you or shift you to the side, would you be able to keep maintaining that movement path? So there's always value in revisiting any exercise to see if you can make it better. So for the QDR, have we got a response?
No, wait, I was talking to Maisie.
Yeah.
You sent her a video?
Oh yeah?
No.
Oh, she sent you the video? Yeah. Yeah, well, so for the QDR, my hand, just pulled on my cord. For the hands, they're going to be placed out to the side, and I want to try to get my opposite knee on top of my elbow and my head to rest on the floor. That's going to create a base where I'm spreading my load as far as possible, and it's going to make this as nice as possible. If you want, you can use a mat to put in front of you so you have something nice for your head to rest on. So, hands to the side. I bring my opposite leg to my elbow, head to the floor, press up back from here. Or standing on the mic cord. Cool. Hands together, elbow into my knee, down to the floor, press back up. So that's the very, very beginner version of this. Now another version I've taken you through is bringing your hip to your elbow here, extending your head and extending your legs. Legs back, drive back up to the top. So elbow into hip, extend head to the floor, legs are straight, and then press, drive all the way back up. You have the choice of either of these variations. If you're more advanced than this, then you know that you can take one leg off, but I'm happy to keep just working with my foot in full extension and get familiar with that position. So that's the one I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to bring myself forward, elbow and hip together, head down, straighten my legs, hold for a few seconds, press all the way back up, my knees back on the floor. Opposite side now. Elbow into that place that we were working with against the wall, head to the floor, straighten my legs. Maybe I can take one leg up a little bit, that's fine, but then hold enough energy so that you're able to push all the way back to your position. So that's the QDR version that we're going to be working with, because I don't have much feedback of where you're at, but that's still a very valuable position to get strong in. You're going to do 2 to 3 reps each side, and that's what you can see on the board. The next exercise we're going to do, very similar, using the box, or maybe you have a chair or something. You can do this on the floor as well. The box is just an easier entry point. We're going to do an elbow lever, where we put both of our elbows this time, instead of a single elbow, into our abdomen, our tummy area where we've already been poking. We're going to try and load up and balance there for a little bit. What I'm aiming for is a rep range of between 5 to 10 seconds, and I want you to do this 2 times through in each of the sets. So I've got my hands bent backwards and behind me. I'm going to bring them onto my tummy, and I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to hold here, getting as much load in my hands as possible. I'm squeezing my arms into my body. My biceps are active. And then I'm going to push up at the end of 10 seconds. Up, 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 up. Boom. So we're staying in that loaded position there. Now I had my feet on the ground. It's fine if you're able to go further forward to do them. But as I said, since this is a class where I can't really see where you're at, this is what I'm going to prescribe. For the people that are already playing with this kind of stuff and have progressions, you may progress by either loading yourself further forward, taking your arms away from the body and going into a full elbow lever, or in yoga they might call it a peacock position. I believe they still have their arms tucked in though. It's the calisthenics people that do it. Cool. We're going to do it again for another 5 to 10 second hold. Whoosh. Whoa. There you go. 5 seconds is hard. Cool. So that's what we're going to do, 5 to 10 seconds of, twice through, and then we're going to continue to our next. Using the box and the small weight. Back to some leg exercises. Standing on my box, picking up my weight. I'm going to go all the way down into this gargoyle toad looking position. From here, I'm going to keep the weight where it is, where I've sunk to my lowest position, and then my aim is to straighten my legs without the weight moving its position or going up higher. For some people it may move a little bit, but that's fine. So you're going to extend the back of your legs, try to straighten them as much as possible. Do this 10 times. Cool. Once you've done your 10, again, trying to stand up tall and set the weight down carefully. I'm just being mindful of the microphone cord. I don't want to stand on it and rip it out. It wants to find its way in between my legs more and more, it seems. Good. Grab a drink. We have about 2 to 3 more sets of this exercises. If you are familiar with what I'm describing and prescribing, you may work through the sets at your own pace. If you're new to this, we'll work through it together. Cool. Hands and knees down on the floor. I'm going to get my elbow, I'll do the opposite side first, elbow into that hip crease where I've worked before. Cool. So here, I've still got both of my feet on the ground. So I can still work with just this position here, both hands on the ground. Then we can move forward, head on the floor, extend our legs. Big push back up. Opposite side. Elbow in, head in, extend our legs, make it look pretty, hold for a second, and then big press back to our knees. Okay, off you go, 2 to 3 reps, either side. What do you think, Gary? Is this fairly easy to follow along? I think it's like a very obscure movement, but I'm trying to give it as much instruction as possible.
Yeah, no, you're very good with your instruction.
Do you think you could do it if I got you onto camera and do it? Yeah, I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying that particular one. Do you feel like there was enough instruction in that for you to follow?
I think so.
I think so too. No, that's right. That's okay. It's just, yeah, I try to just be careful. Well, not careful, but, you know, make sure there's enough information. Okay, we're going back to elbow hold. Cool. Digging your hands into your stomach. You can have your feet on the ground, head on the ground. And just trying to stay here for 5 to 10 seconds. Press up, out of it, shake your arms. Whoosh. I've got a cramp in my ribs. Oof. If you are more advanced and you're able to play with a single arm lever, you're more than welcome to do that if you're a little bit further advanced. So in terms of the single, if you're able to get that in far enough, that's sort of where we can build to. Looks kind of circusy and artistic. It's actually really, really valuable for your wrists and your forearms, something that isolated curling and extension work doesn't quite do for our joints. So hopefully you've been able to complete the elbow lever variation, single arm or double arm, whichever, feet on the ground, feet off the ground, head on the box, head off the box, whatever variation is achievable for you. And we're back to our gargoyle squats. Cool. Setting myself up, picking the weight, standing up, going all the way down into this toad / gargoyle position, and then we're going to extend the back of our legs. Should be extending the back of your legs so that your tummy remains in contact with your thighs, and that it's a struggle to straighten your legs, but we're always aiming to get to that point of straightening them. That takes me a little extra effort to try and straighten my legs, but my intention is always to get there, not to just work through the rep range without a bit of intention. Cool, when we've finished our reps, reset, and then you stand all the way up without putting the kettlebell down so that we're not building lazy habits. Is the rep still on the board there, on the stream? Oh, it's just you're zoomed in? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Cool, so we're back to our QDR, 2 to 3 each side. Because this part is probably the most confusing, it's take my time to continue to explain it. Elbow goes into that hip, liver, oblique line on your side. Okay, that's the first point of contact as you rotate your hips. Then we can extend our head forward, and then it's not too bad. There's not too much pressure going on. And then if you can, straighten your legs. And you can see that my forearm here is nice and tall and straight, and that's where it's going to have the most structural strength in that position. I rotate, I press all the way back up to the top. Hip into elbow, head on the floor, straighten my legs, come over the top of my hand, hold here a little bit, big pseudo push-up, back to the start again. Start a breakdancing move, like. I mean, yeah, totally, man. You go from here to go, switch. There it is. If Andre was watching that, he'd be very happy. He's probably already happy that I'm sharing Brazilian culture in Western workout methods as well. But yeah, adding breaking, or as it's misinterpreted as breakdance, the name is breaking, or b-boying, or b-girling. B-boys, b-girls. Cool, last reps. Cool. Back to the top. Cool. Elbow lever up on the box, whatever variation you're able to do. If it's still quite challenging, we can make the box a little bit higher. Okay, and just lean into it like this. And really, what you're aiming to do is just get that loading position, bent arm here, where there's lots of blood going through my elbow, lots of blood going through my wrist. And over time, it's going to develop a lot of really important structural health, especially as we grow older, perhaps we fall down, etc. Cool. Cool. Pressing out of it. Returning to my gargoyle squats. I'm going to take a quick drink. Cool. Picking up the weight with a nice straight back. Doesn't need to be a super heavy weight for this as well, which is why I said light to medium. It's just to give you a little bit of that progressive overload or loading into this bottom position. And we straighten and stretch our legs, working as hard as possible to avoid the kettlebell coming up as we raise our legs. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it low, our tummy in between our legs, aiming to straighten our legs, full extension. Cool, once you finish the 10th rep, return to a resting upright position, drive out of the hole, set the weight down carefully. We're going to do one more round or set of the QDRs, and then we're going to move on to the next set of exercises, because I really like this as an exercise to get a little bit more familiar with. And then of course, like with any of these lessons, you can either go back or you can do more after the class, and that's a lot of the point with it. Cool. So making sure that we're trying to hit or trying to get all of the points of the exercise right. So bringing my hip to my elbow, just like as we practiced against the wall, head on the floor, and go straighten my legs, and then my other arm is nice and vertical. I'm trying to look what it like there, trying to get it vertical like that. I'm going to drive out, big pseudo push-up, opposite side. Maybe you're going to be able to see it a little bit easier. Here, head on the floor, straighten my legs, and I've got this forearm here, nice and vertical. Big push and drive up to the top, opposite side. Boom. Cool, next set of exercises, Gary. Cool, so we're moving on to the next set of exercises. Cool, we're going to have bar dips. Excellent. So, very easy to follow. I'm going to move my box up here. So getting my tall parallel bars. With these dips, maybe the QDR and being very strong in that position is still a little ways off. Dips are a nice alternative to push-ups to build that forearm, tricep, bicep strength in a pushing rather than a pulling development. So with the tall bars, and you can use 2 chairs if you need, or 2 boxes, you're more than welcome to use your feet on the ground. If you're a very beginner, you can have the flat of your foot on the ground. So the flat of my foot is yellow. Go down as deep as I can, keeping my elbows tucked, drive up and out. If I'm a little bit more advanced, I can turn onto the top of my feet. The top of my foot is black, bottom is yellow. And then it's quite uncomfortable for me to maintain this position on the top of my foot, and that's the point, so that there's less help through your feet as you drive through your dips. For these, you're going to complete 10. So yeah, you can just change from bar dips 5 each side, just make that 10. I think it's because I did shoulder taps and I crossed that out. Cool. Yeah, just 10 in total. Cool. And you can take the ES out the way as well. Cool. So we've done our 10 bar dips. We're going to do a little bit of a mobility exercise. So hopefully you've got your slider ready. If you need, you can use something like a box or a chair or your parallel frame to help you stay upright. And we're doing a front split extension. So this would be front split slide, but we're going to do it with an external rotation. So I want the side of your foot, so the yellow part of my shoe is going to face the camera. Okay, so it's a little bit of a variation. You're not going to be able to go as far in your front split, but that's the point. Loading, going forward, and you should feel that all in the side of your knee and the side of your hip, which is why we have this apparatus, some kind of box next to you, so that you're able to do it. You can do this 5 each side. Good, sliding back and forth, maybe progressively getting lower, deeper into that stretch, but you can always see the side of my shoe, or sorry, the flat of my shoe. Once you completed 5 one side, swapping over to the other side. Good. Bending forward, loading into this hip, being careful for our knee. You might feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is what we want. If you feel pain, all you need to do is just lessen the load a little bit, but I still want you to work with this position here. Very important for our leg to be strong outside the more linear planes of movement. You walk in a straight line, you might squat in a straight line, but when we're playing sports and doing activities or running and jumping, which we should be doing, we're going to be playing outside those ranges. So it's important to add stimulus to them. Cool. So we've done 5 each side. Now we have an exercise called heel to head. Very similar to head to toe. You're going to put on a raised platform such as your box, and you can see the bottom yellow part of my shoe on the corner of this box. My hands go either side, and I'm going to try to aim to get my head to touch my heel to head. You're going to do this 20 times. This might be very far away from you. You just bounce to your lowest position, and I really want you to think of it as a soaring motion where you go into uncomfortable, come back out. Into uncomfortable, come back out. 20 reps in your own time. So I've completed 20 on that side. We're going to swap to the other side. So this time you're going to see the black of my shoe rather than the yellow, because the yellow is facing that wall, or the flat of my shoe is facing that, or flat of my foot. Hands on either side of my foot, and that soaring motion, aiming to get my heel towards my head. "20 times, going into uncomfortable and then out, as if we're greeting an old friend, but we're late for an important event, so we have to leave." No one. I just realized I've sort of been like explaining exercises and talking through it and giving analogies, but no one else can hear it, so it's just me talking to myself. I know, of course it's better, but you know, whether I ever get to an audience or not, so it's kind of funny. Cool, back to our dips. Get out of here, Lyme. Yellow gang all day. I don't want no Lyme disease. All right, so back to our bar dips. Like I said, you can use your feet on the ground if... Hey! That's not a dad joke. Oh, 5 minutes. I'm just going to give them the exercises and then, yeah. Cool. So, back to your bar dips, either tops of our feet on the floor or bottom, 10 times. I'm going to quickly knock through this so I can go back to our front split extensions. 10. Wonderful. Cool. Front split extensions or sliders with a external rotation. So you should see the yellow of my shoe, the flat of my shoe. I'm going to slide out, bring that back in, slide out, bring that back in. Do this 5 times progressively, getting a bit deeper in the stretch, playing with that uncomfortable. 4 and 5. Cool. I'm going to not do the other leg, but I'm going to go back to heel to head to show you what you need to do. Side of my foot facing out, hands either side, and it's a soaring motion of trying to get my heel to head, going in and out of the range of uncomfortable. And you're doing this 20 times. Cool. So we've got another class starting here, so we're just about to wrap up the stream. I'd like you to complete probably about 4 rounds of bar dips, the slider, and the heel to head. And because this is a stream, you can go back and check the information, and we should be able to cut it short here, and hopefully have a good day. And thank you for Gary for participating and being part of it. And yeah, we'll see you around. Bodyweight Gym. What's up?